Still muted. What's up, everyone? Sorry, we are a little bit late. Obviously, there is one person in the room right now, and it's just me. Alex is still putting our daughter to sleep. So as soon as she goes to bed, we will be rocking and rolling, the two of us. But until then, I'm going to hold down the fort. Hope you guys are having a good night. I know it's a little late on a weekday, so I appreciate you guys hanging out. And we are going to talk Halloween Horror Nights 2025. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot that's happened in the past couple of weeks in terms of house announcements. We had the Spooky Empire panel a couple of days ago as well, which I got to go to. And I know probably those of you that are watching got to watch that panel. I filmed it and put it up on the channel. If you haven't had the chance to see it, highly recommend that you do check it out because it is really informative. It was super informative. It was great to kind of get a glimpse behind the curtain from some of the Universal creative team, which is always an awesome thing to experience. So glad I got to go to that. We got our first original house announcement at that panel, which was super exciting. And then on top of that, you know, we had the announcements from a couple weeks ago with Fallout. We had Jason Universe announced. Five Nights at Freddy's, like, kind of announced, kind of not. We're going to talk about that on the stream as well. So, yeah, if anybody is watching this live, leave a comment, say hello. I see Laura is watching from Hawaii. Aloha. That's amazing. Hawaii's awesome. Strawberry Cake. Hey, Matt, I'm tuning in while I eat my dinner from Washington State. Awesome. One of my best friends lives in Washington. He's over in Anacortes and got our daughter a book when she was first born called The Tortoise from Anacortes, and we read it to her almost every night. So, yeah, definitely familiar with Washington State. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be kind of an HHN focused stream. Doesn't have to be solely HHN. So if you have any questions about other things, leave, you know, a comment in the chat and I will get to those. And like I said, Alex will join kind of in progress. It's been a fun couple of weeks because our daughter is getting her first couple of teeth. So she has been a phenomenal sleeper. I mean, sleeps 12 hours a night. Not really because of anything we did. She's just naturally a good sleeper. But she's getting those first two bottom teeth in. So the past couple of days have been rough as far as like naps go and sleeping. Hey, Steph, you miss Florida. Hey, I heard it's pretty dang humid back over in New York too. So it sounds like you brought the hot weather back with you. But yeah, like I said, going to be talking a lot of HHN tonight, but also down to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So as I'm going, you know, leave some questions, comments, whatever in the chat below, and I'll get to them. So Halloween Horror Nights, like I said, we had 3 IPs announced. Well, really 2.5 because Five Nights at Freddy's was just a real mess in terms of announcing that. If you're not super familiar about what happened there, essentially Blumhouse was at a panel, I believe in Mexico, and as part of that panel, they announced, it was at like a convention or some sort of like event with media there. They announced that Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to HHN and that it was going to be a house. And that was before Universal said anything. So that's why we kind of got that weird Sunday night announcement for Five Nights at Freddy's. It's because Blumhouse leaked it before Universal really had the chance to say anything about it. So Universal like quickly put together that tweet, that little announcement that said Five Nights at Freddy's is coming in like an all new way. And people were like, well, like, what does that mean? Is it a house? Is it a scare zone? Is it going to be, you know, an interactive experience? Like, what does that mean? And it's a house. John Murdy and I believe I forget the other gentleman's name, but the one of the lead guys from Orlando did an interview with IGN. I put this clip in our most recent HHN update video from the parks, but they confirmed that it's a house. And then at the Spooky Empire panel, Mike Aiello, who's one of the lead creatives for Universal, didn't directly say that it's a house, but he basically said it was a house. So the worst kept secret right now, and it's all because Blumhouse kind of spilled the beans a little bit early. So that was that's one IP that's going to be coming this year. Is going to be 5 IPs or intellectual properties, and then 5 original houses, which has been the standard format for HHN for the last few years. So it's going to be 5 Nights at Freddy's, which I mentioned. We have Fallout that was announced officially as a house, and then Jason Universe, which I'm very intrigued by because it was rumored that Jason would be coming back to HHN, and I was curious, like, what is that going to look like? Because there's been all these weird rights things with Jason and like Friday the 13th and what can you say, what can't you say? But Jason is coming back, so that's going to be pretty fun. Now, like, I don't know really what that means. Is it going to be a mashup house of like the greatest hits of Jason over the years? Because there's like a million Jason movies, possibly, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. The merch is out for that, or the preview merch is out, and almost all the sizes are already sold out for the shirt. So people are definitely excited for Jason. Fallout, again, is going to be really, really cool. I kind of want to save the Fallout discussion for when Alex eventually jumps on, because we're almost done watching season 1 of the show, which is the only season right now. But we have 30 minutes left in the finale. We started to watch the finale last night, and then it just got a little bit too late. But I'm very curious where that's going to go in terms of how that house is going to be set up, because a lot of the environments in the Fallout show are not in like typical dark nighttime type environments. So I'm really curious how they're going to pull that off. And again, I'll save that for once Alex gets here. We could talk a little bit more because she's got some thoughts on it too. But excited for that because the show's really good. Like I said, I just don't really know necessarily how that's going to translate into a house, but we will see, just like we'll see all the other things. And then at Spooky Empire, they announced the first original house, which is El Artista, a Spanish haunting. And this is going to be the story of Sergio Navarro, who is a new character created for Halloween Horror Nights. He is a tortured artist that kind of moves into this manor, like this house in Spain. The story takes place in Spain, and obviously everything goes wrong. The house is haunted. There's all these weird things that are happening, and that's going to get progressively worse as you go through the house. And just hearing the creative team talk about this house at the Spooky Empire panel, they are really excited for it. You could tell a lot of love went into this. It's a passion project. They referred to it as a passion project for the people who worked on the actual house on the creative side and who the actors are going to be. So very excited to see what that is all about. I have a feeling it could possibly be House of the Year. That's my way too early prediction, but we'll see.
Hello, everyone.
And look who it is.
I made it.
Did she go to sleep?
Yeah, finally. She's teething, so going to sleep has been a little difficult.
It certainly has. Yeah, I was telling them like how good of a sleeper she's been for most of her life, her short life, but obviously she's getting her front teeth or bottom teeth.
She still is a good sleeper, but it's just taking a little bit longer.
Cool. We got a couple people in the chat. Laura says aloha from Hawaii. Strawberry Cakes watching from Washington State. Stephanie's here.
Hi, Steph.
Steph was just here hanging out for the last few days. She said she misses Florida. I didn't really get into too much. I basically just talked about how Blumhouse announced prematurely that Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be a house, and Universal is like still yet to officially announce it.
But they did say it's going to be a house, right?
Not officially. I mean, John Murdy did.
But they didn't officially announce it.
Yeah, like Murdy said it on like a podcast episode or like an interview with IGN, but Universal themselves like hasn't put out the official like Five Nights at Freddy's house announcement yet.
Right.
So really interesting. Like, is that going to be the next IP? Or is that going to be the last IP? Because basically everybody knows that it's coming already. So it's going to be really interesting.
So we still need 3 original house announcements, right?
Yeah, 3 originals.
And 2 IPs?
Yes. Okay. Counting Five Nights at Freddy's, we would need 2 more. Yeah, so we have 3 IP, well, 2.5 really, if you count Five Nights at Freddy's, technically 3, and then 2 originals. And one was just announced today, Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting one because that was one of the houses or one of the B movies that was part of Slaughter Cinema 2 last year. Yep. And out of all we were talking about this earlier.
We were kind of surprised that out of all of them, they picked that.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's going to be pretty cool. Like, if you think of it like it's going to be like a Western type of horror house. So I think they're going to do it well.
Oh, I mean, they are going to do it well.
Yeah.
Universal Creative always does it well.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that of all the houses that were in that one house, it was that one because it was such a short scene.
Yeah.
You know, you walk through like if I remember correctly, like a hallway, and they had some paintings, or not paintings, like pictures, like old timey Western pictures in a frame, almost as if you were walking through someone's house, and then you had that one scare from one of the demons, and then they had the cowboy or whatever you want to call him, like pulling that chain, like pulling him in, like roping him in. But that was it. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I feel like the IPs always get everybody really excited because obviously those are like the popular movies or whatever they are. But the original houses usually end up being some of our favorites.
Yeah.
So I am excited to see what else they announce. The 2 that they've announced so far seem pretty cool. I'm excited to see them, but I'm excited to see what else they come up with too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to talk about that in a few minutes because we are going to pull up the new spec map that came out today from Horror Night Nightmares. If you're not familiar, they are like the ultimate source in terms of spec maps. There's a lot of other like versions of spec maps from other accounts or creators or whatnot out there, but they are the one that is the most accurate most of the time. And yesterday, Universal like put on Twitter, or Horror Nights put on Twitter, like, are you guys ready for a spooky week? So
I think there's going to be a lot of announcements.
Yeah,
this
week is going to basically mirror what they did last year when they announced all the IP or all the originals like back to back to back.
Yeah, it was like one every day.
Yeah, and that kicked off last year with the announcement of Slaughter Cinema 2 at Spooky Empire.
Right.
So, you know, we only have 3 more to go. So they announced 1 today, which was Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters. They got 2 to go. Oh, no, 3 to go.
3 to go.
So, in theory, they could do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe Friday is, the next IP.
Yeah.
Possibly.
They do still have to announce the show as well.
Officially.
And officially announce the show. And which we'll get into on the spec map, but I think there is going to be some type of Lagoon show this year, which they haven't announced yet either. So
yeah, I'm really pumped for that because we saw Ghoulish a couple of times, which was the Lagoon show that they had in 2022. And it ran for only a really short amount of time during HHN because that Hurricane Ian came in and damaged that whole Lagoon setup. And then they obviously like rebuilt all the stuff for the Lagoon. And now we have Cinesational, which is like an awesome show. And at the Spooky Empire panel, Mike Aiello, which we'll get into when we kind of get into the map, but he slipped and basically said there was going to be a Lagoon show.
Yeah.
Someone asked him a question about Nightmare Fuel, which is the show in the Fear Factor stage. And he didn't confirm it was coming back, but he basically did. You know, he was kind of alluding to it, and he was talking about how shows like What's in the Fear Factor stage and the Lagoon show, and how that like gives people a break from the houses and the scare zones.
I think it also is like kind of like a people eater too. Like it's just like another thing for people to do, and so I think it'll help alleviate some of the lines for the houses. I mean, the lines are always going to be long, but I think because there's only one show, usually it's just Nightmare Fuel. The past few years, I think adding that Lagoon show will be really helpful, just as like another thing that people can do at HHN.
Yeah, for sure. Stephanie had a question. She said, with Rip Ride Rocket construction closing areas where several houses were, has there been any projections for locations?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
There is going to be some differences this year.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know for sure what those are going to be yet, but for example, normally if you come into Universal Studios and you walk straight towards Minions, like right at Minion Mayhem, you make a left and there's a house entrance, or like the start of a house entrance right there, where it takes you along like the back side of Rip Ride Rocket. That's construction walled off right now because Rip Ride Rocket is closing in August before the event even starts, and those walls are already up. And then over by Jimmy Fallon and the Ghostbusters Firehouse, that area is basically fully walled off.
Yeah, and there's usually 2 house entrances over there as well. So I'm interested to see where, like, that's 3 houses right off the bat where they're probably going to have to change the location.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what they do with that.
My guess is they're going to like have you go into one location, and then like kind of once you're back there, just walk to different locations. Like one main entrance for like maybe 3 houses.
That's kind of like what they did last year with that long walk over near not Men in Black, but if you keep going down, kind of where like
Monsters was, and what was the other house? Goblin's Feast?
Yeah. Like there was like that long walk, and then there was like a few house entrances back there.
Yeah, that's the new sprung tents. My guess is that's what they're probably going to do. They're probably going to...
Something similar to that.
Yeah, something similar to that. I do think like for certain houses this year, just because of the construction, again, this is just me speculating, but I do think there's going to be long walks for certain houses, especially... That
walk last year, the long one that we were just talking about for Monsters and Goblin's Feast, killed me.
Well, you were also, 8, 9 months pregnant.
9 months pregnant doing it. But yeah, that was a long walk.
Yeah.
And it felt even longer because I was so pregnant.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's my guess. My guess is they're going to do something where there's like one central hub for like 3 or 4 houses maybe. And then you kind of... Once you get backstage by the sound stages and whatnot, then they'll start, having a bunch of barricades and stuff up. That's the only thing I can think of, because the Minions place, the Minions entrance, there's no shot they're going to reopen that because they already closed it off. They wouldn't have done that already. And then depending on what they're doing over by the Ghostbusters Firehouse, like that... Maybe that still won't be there by the time HHN starts if it's not related to Rip Ride Rocket, but I believe it is.
Yeah.
So I don't think, that's going to be a place where 2 house entrances are. And if you've been to HHN like last year, that's where Insidious and Triplets of Terror.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where those houses were. But good question. So do we want to dive into the spec map? I think that's probably the best way to start here. So
I haven't even really like looked at it in detail yet. So
it's generally the same. There's a couple of new additions, which I found interesting, especially because Universal seems like they're going to be announcing a bunch of things this week. So there were things that were added that weren't on there before. But as far as the houses, they're generally the same. So I'm going to pull up the spec map. We'll kind of... The way we'll do this is we'll pretend like we're walking around the park. So we'll pretend like we walk in, and then we go around, and then that'll be that.
And sorry if I keep looking over here. We have like what you guys are seeing, like everything on the computer over here, so that's why I keep looking this way.
Well, they can't see us at all now. They just see the they just see the spec map. Okay, so when you first come in, actually, I'm going to come back into us for just a second. So if you look where the entrance of the park is, and there's that orange square with kind of that like greenhouse conservatory type of entrance, just to the right of Soundstage 23A, the one with the wrestling ring. Before we even get into anything else, I want to touch on that because at the Spooky Empire panel, they were adamant on this year's like main story being immersion and like a cohesive narrative, which if you've been to HHN over the past few years, really with the exception of Oddfellows year, maybe, it kind of lacked that. Like the Pumpkin Lord was really cool, but he didn't really have much else to do with like the rest of what was going on throughout the park. And same with like last year with like Sinister and Surreal. They tried to tie them into the other scare zones. It was a little choppy. So they were hinting on the fact, or not hinting, they did say like this year is going to be immersive. They used that word a lot, and they didn't put the word icon on Sergio Navarro from the El Artista house, but they were saying that the event is going to like take place in that world. And they said very like gothic themes, like conservatory,
stained glass windows,
vines, all that stuff. So as we jump back to the spec map, the first scare zone when you first come in is that conservatory, and I'm really interested to see like what they do with this. I hope that we don't get the usual like truss with the red Halloween Horror Nights sign. I think they're going to make that into like a facade, which would be cool. Like, you know, put some stained glass and like you're actually walking into the conservatory to start.
And I forget her name, the one that was at
Laura Souls.
Yeah, she was saying how like as soon as you walk into the park, you're going to be like immersed in it. Remember? She said that.
Yep.
So I feel like that would be really cool what you're describing. If you like kind of first, like when you first walk into the park, that's what they hit you with. And I'm excited to see what they'll do with it.
Yeah, me too. It should be pretty interesting.
And I think that'll be a good start to like the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. So the first house on the bottom left here, Soundstage 23A, this was the house I was talking about, where you usually enter over by Minions. This is a wrestling ring with a bird of some sort, a coffin, and a television icon. The TV icon means that it's a television property, so this is going to be an IP. And the rumor is this is going to be a WWE house, which has me insanely excited.
Yeah.
Both of us, honestly.
Yeah, we're both big WWE fans. So I think this might be this or Five Nights at Freddy's, I think are my two.
Oh, like, interesting.
Like I'm most excited for those two IP wise. The WWE one is interesting because I'm very interested about how they're going to do that. Like, are there going to be multiple like characters in there, and like how is that story going to tie all together? Like, for example, is if they do like the Undertaker and who's
the Wyatts?
Bray Wyatt and all of that, like is it going to kind of be like a Slaughter Cinema-esque where like they each kind of have their own like rooms per se, or are they going to kind of try and make it like a cohesive story, which I don't know how they would do. So I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be mostly focused on the Wyatts. And the reason I say that is because, one, that's what it was rumored to be from the start, and two, the previous version of the spec map didn't have the bird icon on here, and that's the icon for the Wyatts. Like when the screen glitches, whatever, you always see the bird. So I think it's going to be the Wyatts. There is a coffin in there, so like maybe there's a cameo or something from The Undertaker or Kane or like, I don't know, something like that, which, hey, I'm not going to complain about. That would be pretty sweet. Yeah. But yeah, I am interested to see kind of what they do, especially given the Wyatts have a really cool backstory, but they're also not like prominently featured on WWE programming right now. Not Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, who is the character that's played by Bray Wyatt's real life brother, was injured for a while, so they were off of TV for a long time, but they're back now, so we'll see what that's all about. The house next to that is El Artista, a Spanish haunting. This is over by the Music Plaza stage. This would be the entrance where A Quiet Place was last year. And that house we kind of talked about a little bit. I do want to read the official description from Universal because it does sound really cool. And this is how they kind of set the scene. It says, in 19th century Spain, a tortured artist moves into an isolated country manor for inspiration, but the art comes alive and possesses him. So that's going to be really awesome. Now, like I was saying before, the team really spoke about this like with really high regards. Ramon, who is one of the people on the creative team, led the panel, and he is Latino, and he talked about how like most of the cast, or I believe all the cast, is Latino. So a lot of people like really put a lot of heart and soul into this house. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I'm really excited for is the guy who's building this house and is like in charge of like all the set dressing. His name, I believe, is Greg. I don't know his last name, but he did Dead Man's Pier from a couple of years ago, and he did Blood Moon.
Yeah.
And both of those houses, amazing.
Good. Yeah.
From a set perspective.
Yeah, the sets were so cool in both of those houses. So if he has anything to do with this house, I think it's going to be really, really awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we know like at the bare minimum, the aesthetic of the house and like the grandeur of it and the set design is going to be awesome. And honestly, like just hearing them talk about this at the panel, like they sold me on booking Unmasking the Horror. I just want to see this house.
Yeah.
Because the way they described this house was, I think they know that they're going to have something special with this year. And they're just kind of like itching for the event to start so that people can actually experience the house. But I think they know what they have.
And they also spoke about different effects in the house.
Yes.
There's going to be like Pepper's ghost effects.
A lot of Pepper's ghost.
Which is really cool.
They did say you might see ghosts walking through walls, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for that one. And that one's like confirmed and announced. The next one, Soundstage 23B, Five Nights at Freddy's, the worst kept secret for HHN 2025. The one on top of this is interesting.
What is that? Wings?
It's wings. And then I see there's a tree with like skulls underneath the tree. So and this just could be very much like wishful thinking. Like I'm thinking seeing the skulls in there, like under the tree, alluding to the fact that they're buried. Maybe this is like either Graveyard Games 2. And Graveyard Games was like an awesome house. A lot of people like have that as one of their favorite HHN houses ever. Or maybe it's like a Graveyard Deadly Unrest house, which was one of the coolest scare zones we've ever seen. That was one
of my favorite scare zones.
And we love it so much. We have this right here.
I forgot about that, yeah. And Dead Man's Pier.
There's Dead Man's Pier. So we just talked about that and how awesome that house was. There is Graveyard Deadly Unrest, which was a scare zone from a couple of years ago. And I don't know if it's going to be that because it is kind of soon. Usually there's like a few years in between a scare zone becoming a house. But there's been plenty of scare zones that have become houses.
Oh, yeah.
So why not? That would be interesting. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I have no idea other than that. That's just like my, like I said, wishful guess as to what could possibly be there. As we move over, we have the trash bags with the film reel. That indicates this is a movie-based IP, and this is very much going to be, or should be at least, Terrifier. That's also been heavily, heavily rumored. Personally, not excited for that.
Well, I know
just because it's too much for me.
Yeah. So a lot of people love Terrifier. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going in this house. I'm putting that out there right now
Boo.
that this is the house of the year that I won't be going in.
Boo. There's always one.
What? Yeah, there is, or two. But there is no way I'm going in there because one, I hate clowns. Two, we have never seen the Terrifier series, but from what I've heard, it is extremely disgusting and gory, and that is just not my type of horror. Like I can't deal with the gore and the blood and the grossness, so I will not be going in that house. But I know a lot of people are like really excited because that's like one of their favorites.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we see people with like the Art the Clown like T-shirts on all the time.
Yeah, at Spooky Empire, like cosplay wise, I saw about 5 Art the Clowns in the first 20 minutes I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, people will obviously be really excited for this. I'm obviously gonna do it. But
are you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
See ya.
It's not going to scare me. It's just, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people like it and have been asking for it for quite some time. So expect Terrifier to come soon. Next, over at Fear Factor is Jason Universe. We talked about that. Not Fear Factor, Fast and the Furious. That's going to be over there. If you look real closely, if you go in the parks between now and HHN, if you kind of look through the fence and whatnot, you can see some of the facade going up. They've already started on that. And then as we continue around the park, there is Fallout. Now, I said I was going to save the Fallout discussion for when you came on, since we're watching the show. I really, really like the show.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I'm enjoying the show a lot. And I haven't played any of...
Matt can go alone.
What did Stephanie say? Preach, Alex. Matt can go alone. Well, I'll either go alone, I'll go with you when you come, or Connor.
Yeah.
Who's
Connor's going to have to step up.
Connor's our Scream Squad. So, what was I saying? Fallout. Yeah, so really, really like the show, but I also know it comes obviously from a video game. I never played the video game, but the house is based off of the Amazon Prime show.
Yeah.
So not that it won't have like influences from the game, but it's not from the game. Like how The Last of Us, like from a couple of years ago, that was based on the game. Not the show.
This is based on the show.
This is the opposite.
No,
it's just I don't know how they're gonna pull it off because like. Yes, the vault is really cool, and obviously we're gonna walk into the vault, and obviously
we're
gonna
dead people. And
yeah, spoiler alert. Show's been out for like a year.
Yeah.
But obviously there's going to be like that part of the vault where it's like dark and sketchy and bodies and all that stuff. But also a lot of the show takes place at the surface, which is kind of like a desert essentially because the world's been wiped out.
Yeah.
And a lot of the show is bright in terms of, things happen in daylight.
Right.
All HHN houses, to my knowledge, have been set in the nighttime. So it'll be interesting to see, do they go real dark? Like, are there going to be scenes where it feels like it's daytime? Like, it'd be interesting.
I know. I'm interested. And I know I said before I'm most excited about WWE and Five Nights at Freddy's, but I kind of forgot about Fallout. I am excited for that too. So I don't know what is going to be like my most anticipated, but Fallout is definitely up there, especially because we're almost done with the show and I've really enjoyed it so far. But yeah, I am interested to see how they do that because like Matt said, there are a lot of like daytime parts of it, but there is like scary parts that I could definitely see them like incorporating, like the vaults, the ghoul is obviously scary, and then what are the big like armored guys?
Yes, yeah, those would be really cool.
Yeah, those will be cool.
I hope those are like real things with like actors inside of them somehow, or like animatronics, or
even
whatever.
Just like the voice, like how they talk, that is creepy.
I hope that moves in the house. Like I hope those figures move. Like I hope it's not just like a static figure.
Oh, and that big giant like water animal thing.
Oh yeah.
I could see them kind of like making that into like one of those big puppets
right.
that
like the shark from Slaughter Cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I could see that happening.
You want to let Bunny in? He's scratching at the door.
Yeah. I know we promised you guys Bunny last time, but he wouldn't let me pick him up, so maybe this time he will. Come on, Bun. Come on.
Come on.
There you go.
There he is. So like I said, interested to see how they do Fallout. just because so much of the show takes place like in daylight settings. So that could be like an interesting take on it. Obviously, we're going to have some dark scenes, but I'm curious how they pull this off. Also, too, like there's some scary moments, but I wouldn't necessarily like label this horror. Fallout's not like a horror show.
No. It's just like
it's more like sci-fi, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like a sci-fi like thriller-ish.
Yeah, I was gonna say more like on the thriller.
Yeah, but not thriller in the sense of like you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good thriller movie, like Taken or like something like that. Like
I don't know how to describe it, but
I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure. And I know a lot of people are excited about it. We're gonna try to get a Bunny cameo. Oh, there he is. Bunny, what do you think? What's gonna be your favorite house? Oh, you know what we should have said?
Bunny's not allowed at HHN. He's just a baby.
We should have saved Bunny for a little bit later because once we talk about the scare zones, we'll jump ahead. One of the scare zones is rumored to be like a werecat or like a cat's scare zone.
Bun, you could be a scare actor this year.
Bunny might become a scare actor. They can have a real life cat.
Okay, Bun, say bye to everybody.
Say Bunny. It's goodbye, Bunny. Okay. No crying. I gave him like 4 treats before this started to try to keep him quiet. All right, so.
Okay, so after Fallout.
After Fallout, we have in tent number 3. This is like a skull with a Viking helmet with like the horns, and then there's a moon with snowflakes. Now I was looking back and also just reading like some comments online. There was a scare zone a few years back. We didn't see this because we weren't going to HHN yet, but there was a Vikings-based scare zone. So I would be curious to see like, is this that turned into a house now? I have to do a little bit more homework on it just to kind of see what the gist of it is, but you know. It's obviously going to be Viking themed because the skeleton is wearing a Viking helmet, and then I'm assuming it's taking place at night and maybe during the winter. So that's all I got on that. But like we said before, the originals are like those are our favorites.
Are these last 3 here that we're talking about originals?
These are all originals. Yeah. So there's that Viking one. That's what I'm gonna guess, and I'm only saying that because other people are saying that. That's not an original thought. But that's my guess. And then next to that is in tent 1, that's Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters, which we talked about earlier. That was honestly like Horror Night Nightmares sometimes does, especially in the beginning, it's hard to decipher like what the icons are or like what it is. This from day one, everybody knew it was Hatchet and Chains. Like that was obviously there's a chain on it.
Yeah.
And then there's the main character on the poster from that B movie in Slaughter Cinema had an eye patch. So there's that. And then the last one in tent 2, as far as houses go, is toys. Now, on the previous version...
It is. I was trying to see that. Yeah, it looks like a toy bin.
It's like a toy chest with like a bear and maybe like a ball or something coming out of it. And then on top of that is a roof line. So... Before, on the previous version of the spec map, this only had like a toy chest with a bear coming out of it and like maybe a doll or something. So at first I'm like, oh, this is going to be like, I don't know, creepy toys that come alive or
that would be cool.
Something like that.
You know what? The first thing came to mind for me was like a creepy like Santa Claus Christmas.
That
thing. That was also part of Slaughter Cinema, wasn't it? Or what was the house?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was that one room.
Yeah. So it probably isn't, like, related, but didn't SeaWorld do, like, a Christmas?
I think that it was Busch Gardens.
Busch Gardens did, like, a whole, like, Christmas scary, like, house. And I thought it was really cool when we watched it.
Yeah.
So that was, like, the first thing that came to mind when I saw the toys, but I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it's obviously going to have to do with toys because the one consistent thing that's been on the map the whole time has been toys. So
Toy chest.
now that they added the roof line, like toys in the attic, like which is an Aerosmith song, which is one of Aerosmith's most popular songs. Maybe this is an Aerosmith house. Who knows? But my guess is like if I had to just go off of the two images that are in the little box here, my guess is it's going to be like some sort of original story where maybe they're toys that belong to a kid and they've been up in the attic for years and years. He doesn't play with them anymore. And like they come alive. Think like Toy Story, but like evil toys.
Yeah. That would actually be really cool.
Yeah, that would be.
I like that idea.
That would be pretty awesome. So that is the last of the houses. Now, as we kind of move on, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do this for Scare Zone. So we already talked about the first Scare Zone, which is the conservatory, which is going to be like that main entrance one. And I was hoping that this was going to be, this is kind of wishful thinking, but I missed the days when the Scare Zone in the front of the park was by Minions, like in between the Minions and like the old Shrek 4D, which is now VillainCon. I think there is something going on where like they're not allowed to do Scare Zones there anymore because the Minions are not, you know,
scary.
that's scary. And, you know, during the
So they
daytime, they would have
push it-
scary things by like kids' properties.
Yeah.
So-
So they like push it further up to just like the little area of where you first walk into the park. Right. And so it's not as like long. And I don't know, the past like few years, it hasn't been like that great. It's kind of just like the HHN sign with the trusses, and then that's like
maybe like a couple of scare actors.
Yeah.
Last year they had the chains. It was just kind of, it's just been a little disjointed. But like going back to what they spoke about at the Spooky Empire panel was like a full cohesive theme, and they kept using the word immersion, and they kept driving the point home that like this year is going to be one of the most, if not the most immersive years. So I have high hopes for this Scare Zone. I think this is finally the year where they figure it out and they do something cool over here. But yeah, this is obviously going to be the conservatory, which is the general theme of HHN 34, with that whole like stained glass Gothic type of aesthetic. Now, as we jump up to New York, so this is going to be right below the trash cans or the trash bags. That is a like an old timey hat, like an old like mobster hat,
biohazard.
Yeah, like
symbol.
a biohazard symbol. So the rumor for this Scare Zone is that it's going to be like some mafia related thing, which would be kind of funny. Paisan, all the Italians will be walking through like this.
Like this. That actually would be cool, like a mafia themed Scare Zone.
Yeah, you want to hear something really funny? So I listen to a couple HHN podcasts. One of them is Fear and Beer, and they do a great job of like talking all things HHN. The other one I listen to like regularly is HHN 365. Both of those are year-round HHN podcasts. So if you're ever trying to like get your fix in like January or, you know, whatever, that's kind of where I go to. So one of the guys on Fear and Beer was talking about this Scare Zone, the Mafia Biohazard one. And he's like, if they don't have a ghost in this Scare Zone that is like covered in meat and call him the Gabagool,
That's great.
It's like such a missed opportunity.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, that is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Not my idea, not my joke. Stole that one from Fear and Beer because I thought it was hilarious when I listened to their most recent episode. But yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed for the Gabagool in New
so
York.
we'll see if that comes to fruition. That would be a cool Scare Zone.
Yeah, I mean,
especially because it's set in New York too.
Yeah, it would fit aesthetically.
Yeah.
My thing that I was thinking of, the first thing I thought of, like when I saw these icons on here, aside from like everyone already saying for the longest time this was going to be like a mob themed scare zone in some way, shape, or form. The hat, like that's like Boris Schuster-esque. So like, even if it is some mob weird alien creature thing, like maybe this takes place in the world of Boris Schuster, and like they told his story a little bit in Tribute Store a couple of years ago, and he wears a hat like that. So I would not be surprised, but we'll see. The next one, this one is really strange. So
Where is that at?
this is by the Fast and the Furious exit.
Okay.
So like where the Blumhouse one was last year.
San Francisco.
It's just a bunch of dancing people. I'm like,
just
what?
like a party scare zone.
Yeah, it's the let me go back, so just in case anybody missed it. But the icon is literally just a bunch of people like
it almost looks
with
like
their hands in the air.
Like a flash mob.
Yeah. So I don't know what this is gonna be. I hope that this is like an actual scare zone and it's not just like, oh hey, like we're gonna put a DJ over here and he's gonna and it's gonna be like a glorified photo op.
I feel like
the Blumhouse one was
yeah,
last
like
year.
I was gonna say like the Blumhouse one wasn't even really a scare zone. It was more like picture, like photo ops.
Yeah, they had them all like
the different
on
characters.
the elevated platforms, and then you got like selfies with them.
Yeah,
it's
like
really
I miss when it was like what was the year?
The Coven.
Yeah,
that was really good.
That was good. Yeah. So hopefully they make it an actual scare zone, but I don't know, like with the dancing people,
the
like,
dancing dudes. That's what we're gonna call
dancing
it.
Dudes.
Dancing dudes. You know what it is? I mean, they're coming out of Fast and the Furious, and that is a party, and we're all family when you go on Fast and the Furious.
Oh
so
my gosh,
that's it. Everybody just hanging out as a family. So I don't know what that is. Like I'm a little concerned over that, just because I want a scare zone there, and especially knowing the front scare zone over the past couple of years hasn't been a proper scare zone. That's just kind of been like a mishmash of like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that would mean 2 scare zones potentially are like scrapped.
Yeah.
Or not scrapped, but like just not up to HHN standard. So we'll see. But if it's dancing dudes, I'm down for that too. I'll go dance with them.
Dancing dudes.
Dancing dudes. Okay, scare zone wise, coming all the way down into New York.
Not New York.
I'm at Central Park.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Central
So like above Hatchet and Chains to the left, the one that looks like a cat, that is rumored to be like the Werecats scare zone, which
that's where the jungle was.
That's where Jungle was. Yep, and that's where Swamp of the Undead was last year. That could be interesting.
Bunny, this is your scare zone.
This is Bunny's time to shine.
Bun, you gonna be a scare actor? No,
Maybe
you're too cute.
Maybe HHN Creative has seen some of our videos and they're like, you know what?
No,
that cat would make a good icon for a scare
cute.
zone. I'm really curious, like what this is gonna be.
Yeah, like
the first thing I think of, and I know this isn't it, but like I think of the movie Cats. With, like,
which is
James Corden and like,
which is not scary.
No, I mean it's scary in other ways, but not a horror movie. I don't know like what that's gonna be. That's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah.
And then just to the left of that, they have a horde. So the chainsaw horde is over there, and they also have roller skates. Now, a while back, they put out like a casting for people who can roller skate. And a lot of rumors initially was that the Beverly Hills scare zone was going to be like a Mel's die-in scare zone, which would be fitting because Mel's is right there.
Yeah,
but,
so almost like a 50s, like diner, like creepy people on rollerblades.
Yeah, but that is going to happen, and it's going to be chainsaws and people on skates by Mel's. So this is not the scare zone. This is just a horde. So my guess would be like they come out every once in a blue moon and just kind of like kind of like the Megans or whatever, maybe like once an hour type of thing, every 15 minutes, whatever. But that's going to be over by Mel's, and I have a feeling this is going to be like 50s. I think it's going to actually directly tie into Mel's.
Yeah,
because of the roller skates.
Said, like 50s diner, like chainsaw, scary people.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. And then the scare zone there is that mask, and it's a mask like a masquerade, and then there's fangs. So this is going to be obviously some sort of like ball or like fancy type of event, because like that's when people wear those masks. But there's fangs, so like maybe this will be a new Vamp. You know, like how we had Vamp 85, Vamp 69. Maybe this will be like a 20s or 30s or 40s era Vamp scare zone, because there are fangs, so it's going to be vampires one way or the other. And then the mask would lead me to believe it's like an older era.
Is the masks not like Mardi Gras masks? Like jester type of.
It's not really a jest. I mean, I guess it could be, but I think it's going to be more of that, like, you know.
They look like Elton John sunglasses.
It's just Elton. It's vampire Elton John.
That's the scare zone.
This is shaping up to be some year. We have the Dancing Dudes.
This is what goes on through my mind.
Dancing Dudes and Vamp Elton John. Vamp Yellow Brick Road is the scare zone. But yeah.
And then the last two things are the shows. So
last two things are the shows.
The fountain show, and then the flame is, I'm guessing, Nightmare Fuel.
So at Spooky Empire, at the last like 15, 20 minutes of the panel, they did a Q&A, and someone came up asking about Nightmare Fuel, like if that's coming back. And again, Mike Aiello, who is awesome. I could listen to him talk all day. Not good at like withholding information secrets. Or like keeping secrets. He all but confirmed that Nightmare Fuel will be back. He also confirmed that Jason Horn, who was the like show director or whatever his exact title was, he's the one who's like done all the Nightmare Fuels in terms of like choreography and the story and all that stuff. He is not doing Nightmare Fuel this year.
That makes me
nervous, but also excited, because like we enjoy the show, but it's almost like the same show every year, just slightly different.
Yes, but I love Nightmare Fuel. I'm a huge fan.
No, me too. It's like I said, we enjoy it, but it would be cool to get like a fresh take on it.
Yes, but I also hope it's as good as it always is, because I love it. Also, the Fuel Girls on Instagram posted. They didn't say they were coming back, but they said like they posted like old pictures from previous years, and they said the last thing they said was like "see you soon."
Yeah, like "see you in the fog" or something.
Yeah, something like that. So
see you in the fog.
The Fuel Girls will be back, and they're my favorite. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So Nightmare Fuel will definitely be back. It's not official yet, but like I said, they all but confirmed it. In that same sentence, Mike Aiello was talking about the importance of shows, because people need a break from doing haunted houses.
Right.
Or if you come to the event, let's just say like you're going with friends. We had friends of ours who came with us a couple years ago who like aren't really interested in HHN, but they came to try it out just to kind of see if they would like it. They only did a couple of houses, and then like we watched the show. So like not everybody that's going is like a diehard fan like we are. Some people just go in like a house or two, and then maybe just want to sit and see the show. It's a way to kind of like break up your day. But again, Mike said, oh, like shows like Nightmare Fuel and the Lagoon Show, and there hasn't been a Lagoon Show in a couple years.
Yeah.
So the fact that he mentioned the Lagoon Show, and then now the Lagoon's on the spec map, there's going to be a Lagoon Show.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what the show's going to be. The map itself just has the fountains.
Yeah.
So it's just alluding to like the fact that it is a Lagoon Show, but
yeah, I don't think anybody knows much information about it yet.
Yeah, and then on top of that, where they had the truss with all the show times for Ghoulish, which was the last Lagoon Show they did in 22, where that piece of truss was, they didn't have anything there the last couple of years. And now truss is starting to pop up around the park, and there is something in that exact spot. So that's probably going to be where they post the show times, like on a banner. So we'll have a Lagoon Show, which is awesome because we need another show. Yeah. We need another People Eater. I don't even care if they just bring Ghoulish back. I don't think they're going to do that. Obviously, they've had enough time to work on a new show. And it was heavily rumored that last year we were going to get one, but it just wasn't ready in time. So I am curious to see like what the show's going to be.
Yeah, me too.
And that is that it? I think we did everything.
What are you most anticipating IP wise? Because those are the ones like we're pretty like we know mostly what they're gonna be.
Yeah. So I would say number one is definitely Jason Universe.
Not WWE.
Well, WWE's not announced yet. I'm going off of like the confirmed ones.
Oh.
Yes,
okay.
when they announce WWE, that will be at the top of my hype list. But going off of what we know is definitely coming, I would say Jason Universe only because I've never gone in the Jason house.
I'm scared of Jason.
And yeah, he's pretty intimidating. He's like 6'5", solid. You know?
I was scared of when we went in the Halloween house. That house scared the crap out of me. I did not like that house.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I feel like Jason's gonna be similar to that. So yeah.
Yeah, he probably will
I'll go
be.
in it, but I'm scared.
Yeah, so for me, it's Jason Universe. I'm also curious, like, what this house is going to be because, like I said, they can't. I don't know all the specifics, but there's a lot of sensitivity around like using Friday the 13th, the words because of like trademarks and those. The rights thing has been a mess. Universal supposedly has been trying to get Jason for years, but like they just haven't been able to do it. And now that the people who own the rights to Jason and Friday the 13th sold it off, Universal was now able to work with the new people who own the rights to bring it to the event. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Fallout because, one, I really like the show, and two, I'm just really curious what a full house is going to be when a lot of the show doesn't take place in dark settings.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, like Friday the 13th, we know we're going to... the facade is actually shaping up to be you're walking into Jason's shack from the second one. And then you know, like, generally what the atmosphere is going to be, depending on which movies they pull from. But, yeah, I'm excited for Fallout. The Five Nights at Freddy's, it's at the bottom of my hype list.
Why? I'm excited for it.
I'm excited to see, like, the costumes.
Yeah,
and
well, are they going to be... animatronic.
I think it's going to be... my guess is there's going to be, like, a combo.
Because didn't you say that the Hensons helped them create these costumes?
Yeah, so the Henson Corporation, or I forget the exact name,
yeah.
they did the costumes for the movie. Murdy, in that IGN interview where he leaked that, or they confirmed that it was a house, said that they are working with Henson for the house.
For the house, too.
So the costumes are going to be basically a one-to-one replica of what was in the movie. So that's going to be cool. Now, the movie, I didn't think the movie was that great. Like, it was fine. I'm also not really, like, the target audience for Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, it definitely skews a lot younger.
Yeah.
So get ready. Going to be a lot of kids at HHN
As
this
if
year.
there's not already so many teenagers.
Yeah. So there's going to be even more teenagers and probably, like, younger, like, tweens, like, that come with their parents, too, because Five Nights at Freddy's is immensely popular with that demo. Like, it's not popular with, like, 35-year-olds, you know?
I liked it.
No, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's not, like, amazing. But
yeah, I'm just more excited to see, like, the costumes and if they have animatronics in it. That's going to be cool.
I think that's why I'm excited for it because, like, I'm so interested to see the costumes. I feel like that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it should be cool. But that would be probably third on my hype list.
Okay.
What's yours?
I
think you had Five Nights at Freddy's first, didn't you?
Five Nights at Freddy's, Fallout, and WWE are, like, my top three. I'm scared of Jason, and I don't want anything to do with Terrifier.
Yeah, same. Like, I'm obviously going to go in Terrifier because I go in all the houses. I need to...
You didn't go into Insidious last year,
Yes,
you?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you didn't do... We didn't do
Exorcist a couple years ago. Yeah, that's just... That kind of stuff, not my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I did Insidious, and it scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah,
Still recovering from it today.
I did not do that.
Insidious survivors. Yes, but, like, yeah, my ranking would probably be, once it's all said and done, Probably WWE #1. Also, Mike Aiello. I know I mentioned him like 10 times on this live stream. Massive WWE fan. Friends with people who work for WWE. So if there was ever somebody to be in charge of creative when they were doing a WWE house, Mike's the guy.
Yeah.
So I have full faith that it's going to be cool. Also, WWE hasn't done anything at HHN since they did like the Undertaker house, which I believe was in like 02 or something like that. It was been a long time, and it was not well received. So like for WWE to come back, they don't need any promotion right now. Like the company's doing the best it's ever done.
Yeah.
So the fact that they would come back, I think it's going to be a pretty cool story. And I think if you're not a WWE fan, we talked a little bit before about Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt Six and all that. And once they officially announce a WWE house, I'm going to put out a video breaking down like everything you need to know about these characters, because you're not going to know who they are. But if you're a fan of HHN original houses, I think you'll really like this if they lean into the story of the Wyatts and the Wyatt Six. Mm-hmm. It's very HHN-esque.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a fan of HHN originals, even if you don't know who anybody is, or if you can care less about the WWE, I think you'll still really like this house. Yeah. I think it'll be cool.
And I'm also excited once they do start announcing more of the originals, we can discuss also what will be our top, like, most anticipated for those as well. But because we don't know yet, we only know 2.
Yeah.
Once, maybe at the end of this week, once they announce more.
Yeah. Might have to do another stream.
Yeah, we could talk about what is most anticipated for us. What are you guys excited for?
Yeah, let us know if you're watching and if you're planning on coming to HHN, or maybe just by the descriptions of what we talked about. Let us know what you're looking forward to or interested in.
Even the scare zones, I'm excited to see what they have in store for us this year.
Yeah, and like our predictions never line up with like how it actually shakes out. Mm-hmm. Like if you go back to 2022, like the year of the Pumpkin Lord, when they announced all the original houses, I was like, Spirits of the Coven is going to be sick. Like that's going to be...
that was like our least favorite house that
like
year.
a 1920s vibe, like a speakeasy, like all that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is right up my alley. This is going to be really, really cool. And it wasn't. Yeah. So no disrespect to anybody who worked on that house, but just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And that's how it works. Like... Mm-hmm. As far as originals go, like El Artista, I was in the room when they were discussing that. I'm really excited for that. That's my most anticipated house, IP or non-IP. I think that house is going to be insane. Yeah. And it could very well be House of the Year. That's my way too early prediction is El Artista is going to be House of the Year. The Hatchet and Chains, like, it's going to be awesome, but... out of everything in Slaughter Cinema, I probably wouldn't have chosen that. Yeah. So I'm excited for them to like change my mind, because every time you go in the houses, you're like, oh wow, this is gonna be crazy, or this is gonna be like not what I thought it was. Goblin's Feast last year was at the bottom of my hype list,
and that was
was one of my favorite houses. Yeah. So you
never
know.
What I was just thinking, it's gonna be weird this year that there's not gonna be a Monsters house. Yes. Because hasn't there been a Monsters house every year that we've went?
Every year, yeah, they've been doing Monsters houses for years and years.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the 3 years that we've gone, there's been some sort of a Monsters house, and there's not going to be this year.
There's not going to be. No, they want to make sure.
Although last year I wasn't crazy about like the female like monsters.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it was only okay. Hi, Bun.
Hey, Bunny, we're almost done. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to discuss. We also wanted to keep this kind of tight and close to an hour. It's been just over an hour. But yeah, we'll give it another like minute or so. If anybody has any last minute questions, thoughts, comments, we will take those. But other than that, I think we are probably going to hop off in a couple of minutes. There's going to be a lot going on this week as far as HHN. We're either going to do another stream at the end of the week to like talk about everything that was announced from like now until then. Yeah. And then there will definitely be a regular vlog Like once they announce all the original houses, hopefully we get an IP this week too. Maybe we'll get some cool like preview merch.
I was gonna say, hopefully they release some more merch. I liked so far like the Fallout merch that they released.
Yeah.
Especially because it didn't look like a regular just like HHN t-shirt. As you guys know, most of them are all like black t-shirts. This one was like a beige color. So I like that they went like in a different direction.
Yeah,
for
yeah. The merch so far has been really good, and this is just
a lot better
this is
than,
just announcement merch.
Yeah, a lot better than last year.
Yeah,
I was not a fan of last year's merch. I like didn't really buy much.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I bought. I know I always buy the house shirt with all the houses on it. I bought that gray Last of Us shirt. Yeah,
I also didn't buy much last year because I was very pregnant. But
we bought the Mel's die-in.
That was the only shirt I bought. I think last year.
Oh, I bought the Ghostbusters jacket. Come to think of it, I bought a lot of merch last year.
Yeah, well, you with the Ghostbusters, we all know. But yeah, I didn't buy much last year. I don't think so.
Yeah.
We'll see about this year.
We will see. But that is gonna do it for tonight's stream. We have to go watch the last 30 minutes of Fallout.
Yeah.
So we can decide.
I was so upset. We were watching it last night, and it was literally at like such a good point, and then Matt just shuts the TV off. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "It's time to go to sleep." I'm like, "You're stopping it here?" Like it was like something big was about to happen.
I know. We're like halfway through the episode, so we're gonna go finish Fallout so that we can put a bow on our HHN homework for that. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed chatting HHN, chatting spec maps, talking all things. Oh look, KJ made it at the end.
Hi, KJ.
Made it at the very end.
You'll have to rewatch.
You'll have to go back and rewatch everything. No, but yeah, like I said, we'll probably do another one of these either at the end of the week or like sometime next week just to kind of talk about everything else because I have a feeling by the end of this week we'll probably have almost HHN like almost fully rounded out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks so much for watching. And we'll see you guys in the vlogs this week and then probably at some point another live stream. So thanks for hanging out and
Bye,
we will
guys.
talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.